All right. Welcome to On The Sideline. I'm your host, Jeff Holden. Today we got Big O.
What's good?
And the man of the hour, special guest, head coach, and athletic director in Electra, Coach Josh Ritchey. We got so many fans already.
I know.
That's pretty great. That's pretty good.
That's
so
what happens when you're undefeated.
There you go. And undefeated as a head coach.
That's right.
All right. So, Coach, we talked a little bit before this, but we're excited to learn a little bit about you. How about you just tell us about yourself, tell us about your background, maybe your family, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Well, I'm Josh Ritchey. I've been married to my wife for about 23 years. We're both from Vernon. We both went to Abilene Christian University. I GA'd for 3 years under Gary Gaines, who's a Hall of Honor guy. If you've seen Friday Night Lights, that's Gary Gaines.
Wow.
So he coached Zach Thomas at Tech. I mean, he's a legend out in West Texas. So that's how I got my start. Then I went out to Hallsville, which is in between Longview and Marshall. We were closer to Shreveport, Louisiana than we were to Dallas. And then from there, I went to Canyon Randall, the other end of Texas, up in the Panhandle.
Mm-hmm.
And I was OC at Canyon Randall for 2 years, and then went to Tascosa for 16. And now I'm at Electra.
16 years?
16
in
years.
Tascosa. Wow.
Yes, sir.
What did you do in Tascosa?
I was the offensive coordinator. I was a track coach, and then I was a throws coach for a while. Then I became the head women's track coach. Then I did the jumps and just about anything but pole vault, high jump, something like that. And then we had one of our wrestling coaches left, and wrestling is huge in the Panhandle. And at Randall, I was a head powerlifting coach 1 year, and then the next year I was a wrestling coach. And so since I had some experience as a wrestling coach, they hired me to do that. And I should have retired as a wrestling coach after 2 years, because my 2 years of coaching that, prior to, I won 2 state championships, one with Randall and one with Tascosa. And
There you go.
The next 2 years weren't quite that great, so I should have retired as a
Should've
wrestling
hung it
coach.
up.
Yeah, that's what I told Coach Stafford that I should have done.
So, first year as a head coach.
First year as a head football
obviously
coach.
as a first year as an athletic director as well. You're coming into a town, Electra, who was pretty successful last year as a football team. Coach McKitty did a great job. We really kind of fell in love with Coach McKitty after his interview last year. Let's touch on, and again, I'm sure you know most about it, but let's touch on how the year went for those guys last year, and then what was the overall record, and then how did the playoffs end? If you know.
Those guys, they had a great year last year. They were 8-3. I think Coach McKitty did a really good job. They made the playoffs, went to the first round, lost to Wellington. Have quite a few kids coming back, and I think, and that's what I told the kids when I first got there, is the foundation has been laid. We just have to start building the walls and the structure, because I think he did a great job of getting those kids to be successful. And hopefully we'll continue that tradition that they have, because they have a long tradition of championships throughout the years since the school has been open. So,
Yeah, for sure. So, of course, like I said, it's always good when you're getting a new coach in. But like you said, the foundation was laid. Now you're here to build the walls. Coming in, what's something that day one when you got here, what would be something that you noticed day one about the students, the faculty, and the community of Electra that just was inviting for you?
and I tell you, the kids are great. They're very coachable. They want to be successful, and that's exciting as a coach, because then you can start developing them and that sort of thing. I think the community is wanting to get back. You know, I've heard a lot about the '85 state championship, and they want to get back to that precipice, and that's my goal as well. And I told the kids, I said, I wouldn't have come here if I didn't think we could win a state championship. I mean, that's always my goal, is to win as many gold footballs as you can. At the end of the day, that's why you play. It's fun. I and all that, but there's no feeling better than to hold up a goal football at the end of a game. And so that's kind of what we're trying to build in Electra. And I think the community is wanting that. The teachers, it's a really tight community. There's a lot of alumni that work at Electra. You can walk through and they go, oh, yeah, I graduated here back whenever, or I graduated here, or my dad coached here. I mean, it's crazy. And so that's really fun. The other thing I like about it is Hallsville was a one high school situation. Randall was in with Canyon. Tascosa was in with Paladura, Caprock, Amarillo High, and us. So we had 4 high schools. And so I wanted to kind of get back to that one high school town where you're it. You know, everybody's looking at you. Friday nights is about, hey, Electra Tiger football, and let's go with that. And so that's what drew me to that area, their past success and their athletes.
Okay, and while we're talking about Electra, how's it been for you and your family transitioning into Electra? And when exactly did you get here?
I got here the Monday after spring break, so I've been here about 5 months. My wife, she did not move till June because she's a teacher also, and so she couldn't get out of her contract until school was out. And so I was living with my parents until June in Vernon, and so I felt like a teenager again.
Yeah.
That's why I told everybody.
Did you have your own room?
I had my old room.
There you go.
And so I would go to a softball game or a baseball game or a track meet, and I might get home at 10, 11 o'clock, and they had dinner ready for me, and they would sit down at the table, and I'd have to tell them how my day was. So it was like I was 17 again.
That's like, awesome.
Man, I'm kind of grown right now. I don't need to be.
That's something you miss when you get older.
Yeah, for real.
That's awesome.
A home cooked meal.
Yes, and that was what I was about to say. I did get my mom's home cooked meals quite a bit, so that was a plus. So.
That's awesome.
Yes, for sure. So being a guy that's from Vernon, did you attend Vernon High School?
Yes, sir, I did.
So being of course, from the area, knowing what the kind of the traditions of Electra football and from just being Vernon's right there. What are some of the traditions that you want to bring back to Electra, and what's some of the new traditions that you want to try to create going forward?
Well, I want to continue the tradition of winning, of excellence. And when people think of Electra, they think, man, I don't want to play them. They're physical. They play fast. They play hard. They're going to play you to the last buzzer, win or lose. Don't look at the scoreboard. They're there. And so that's what I want to bring. That's something that we preached, where I came from at Tascosa. And we eventually were able to build into a successful program. It took a few years for us, and we took some lumps. We were in the Little Southwest Conference at the beginning, and it was tough. I mean, we're playing Permian and Odessa High, Abilene High, Cooper. I mean, at one point we had 9 district games, and you talk about a lot of pressure to perform week in and week out. There's no slouching, and you're 4 teams going to the playoffs. That's something that's tough. And so I think what I want to bring in is a toughness of physicality, understanding that the game of football is a passionate sport, and I'm passionate about it. That's what drew me to it. Is you can be physical. It's controlled chaos. You can hit somebody, and as long as you do it within the rules, you're not going to get in trouble. You walk down the hallway and hit somebody, you're going to be in trouble. And so that's what always drew me to the game, and I'd like those kids to understand that.
Yeah. And so coming back to the 8-3 Tigers of last season, you may not know exactly how the schedule and everything played out, but you probably know moving forward, what is your pre-district schedule this year and then your district schedule?
So we have Santos, who we're going to open up with, in which I know Coach Mann because he's a flex bone guy as well. So that's going to be an interesting matchup because we're both flex bone guys. And then we have Nakona and Era. And Era's, from what the coaches have told me, they were pretty young last year. They had a really good JV, so I think they're going to be pretty good. And then we have Olney, and our district, of course, Windthorst is always kind of the standard. I was telling our superintendent on the way we were going to our district football meeting is when I got to Randall, Friendship was kind of in that area. They had built that thing up, and that's what I perceive Windthorst to be in this area at the 2A level. Is everybody knows who Windthorst is. They've been successful. They've been deep in the playoffs. They've won state championships. And so that's, to me, the high point of the district, and that's who we want to become. And so that's who we're looking at. And then we have Haskell, Monday, Petrolia, and I'm leaving one off.
Seymour.
That's right.
And Archer City.
In Archer City, which I'm not related to that,
Ritchey. There you go.
I get that quite, and it's crazy because we spell our last name the same way. Usually that doesn't happen.
Yeah, that's a. You usually see IE or something.
Yes.
But
let's talk about a few of the players that you guys have coming back. Some of the kids you got to know. So what's going to be some of your key pieces going into this football season?
Well, I tell you, when I got here, we were in the middle of track and we were in the middle of baseball, and I was very impressed. You know, I've been a track coach for a long time, and I was very impressed with our track program. We have some guys that can go. You know, we have a Braylon Nava, who was a linebacker last year, and he's going to be a good one. Micah Booth, he's another linebacker. He's really good. Cordarian Duncan, I always call him CD, so I'm sorry. Sorry, CD, if I messed up your name, or Corday. But he was a 400 runner. He was on the sprint relay in the 4x2, and our 4x2 broke the school record 4 times last year in the season. And so we've only lost one off of that group. And so we've got some athletes that can go, you know, and that can participate. And we've got some young linemen and some older linemen that once they get it figured out, I think we're going to be pretty salty. The one thing that I came in and I told the coaches this, and I hired Coach Jackson back, our defensive coordinator, and I told him, I said, I've been watching our games, or the games from last year, and I said, y'all played great defense, and your mentality fits me. Let's get after it. They're you know, with a new offense, it's a little bit different because they were slot T, but with the flex bone, there's some subtleties that the kids are going to have some growing pains, and it's not like where I came from, where you basically have an offensive side and a defensive side, and I've got them for however long the defense needs a practice. And so I think we're going to build our team around our defense because it is going to be similar. They're going to be aggressive, and I thought they tackled real well. And then hopefully as we get going, we can keep it simple enough where the kids get confident and they play fast, and then we can start adding some more subtleties that we had later on down the road. And so that's kind of what we're looking at player-wise.
And real quick, is your quarterback returning?
No, that was Coach McKitty's son.
Okay, that's what we thought.
He was a sophomore last year, so no, we're looking for a quarterback right now.
So you're in the quarterback hunt. So you
Yes,
haven't
sir.
named a starter. Okay.
I have not
And
named
that's-
a starter.
We know that's what 2-a-days and beginning.
And I think the biggest thing
is
is finding out who fit that, because flex. You said a flex bone that
Yes,
you were.
sir.
That's a different offense. I think honestly, if I had to give my opinion based off of the personnel of the kids that I know at Electra, it fits their personnel very, very well. So Electra, I think you made a great hire with that, especially with somebody that's coming in, the type of kids that Electra has, and that's probably what was eye-catching for you as a coach, kind of doing your research on their players. I think it fits their system really well. Like you said, I think the biggest part is going to be how the linemen adjust and adapt from running that slot. They ran a slot T last year, right?
Yes, sir.
So it's going to be interesting to see how Electra performs in that offense.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, and we know you've only been here for a short time, but we know you've run into the athletes, and you know you've developed a relationship with those guys, or they've at least seen you and known who you are. What is some of the or if you can by name, shout out a couple guys that you're excited about for this season, or some guys. You touched on linebackers briefly, but touch on a couple more guys if you can on and what you think or how they're going to be impactful for you this year.
Okay, well, I said Braylon Nava, Micah Booth, and CD, but we also have a Jacob Wilson. I think he's gonna be an outside linebacker type, and I think he can contribute. Nate DeLeon is going to take over at our free safety position and slot position, and I think he's going to be a good contributor. Our center, Tomas DeLeon, he's a big kid. Yeah, I told our somebody the other day that, his dad owns a pipe company. So at 6 a.m., he was already at work for his dad all the way through to about 6 p.m. So he's a tough kid. Nate DeLeon's the same way. I mean, he worked from 6 to 6 all summer long. And that's the thing about Electra is that you've got those kids that are working those types of jobs. They're not working at McDonald's or nothing against McDonald's, but there's a little bit different whenever you're working like at a pipe company or something like that.
And we touch on this a lot, and we talked about it a lot this during our preview. A lot of those small towns, they your summer attendance may have been, and that's one of our questions as well, but a lot of people don't realize it, that these kids are out harvesting, these kids are out running pipelines, these kids are out working for a family business, and they just don't have, you as coaches don't have that luxury of kids in bigger cities that are coddled. I mean, I don't say coddled, but like they do nothing but play football. Like that's all they do. They're driven there. They're driven home. So it's just a different breed. And even O talks about it all the time. And it's a real, a kudos to the parents and how they raise kids in these small towns. It's just completely different.
Yeah, for sure. So one thing I'm still fascinated about the style of offense and how well it's going to fit those players. If you don't know, if people don't know the offense, they'll understand once they kind of see. But so you're new to the city, you're getting to know the players, of course the family members and things like that. Of course, you mentioned one thing that Electra did last year. I got to give them a plug. They had like this video where the players are going around to the teachers' like rooms on game days and stuff like this. Like, I want to say the kids were like going to telling the teachers. It was on senior night, is what it was. They were going to like, "Hey, Miss Such and Such, like you could just tell the relationship that the educators had with those players and just how much it meant for those players to be able to say, "Hey, man, this is my last game. This is my senior night," and versus the teachers giving the players something. The players took it amongst themselves, I want to say, to go to that teacher and present them with something. I thought that was pretty cool. Just kind of like showing that, hey, you've been important to me. Sometimes we don't see that. We know that it happens, but Electra was able to capture that moment. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I think Coach McKitty did a really good job with stuff like that. I've had a lot of people talk to me about those types of things and teachers of the week and that sort of thing, which those are all things that I want to implement as well. But it's nice to know that it's already been done. Stuff like I've already talked with our elementary principal about having some elementary kids as honorary captains. That's the good thing about a small school is that you can do that. And before I got to Tascosa, my wife and I were in the same district. And so every Friday, she was a reading teacher. Every Friday, I could send players over to her class, and they would read to her class. Well, at Tascosa, she was still in Canyon, and I was in AISD, so I couldn't do that. And I'm excited about getting those players back into the community and building that type of deal where, hey, it's more than me. It's about Electra. It's about the community, and it's about these kids look up to me. And so those are some things that I'm excited about being able to say, hey, let's do this.
So I know you talked about keeping the defensive coordinator.
Mm-hmm.
Did you bring any coaches with you on this hire?
So I made 2 hires. One is a young kid, Eric Jones. He just graduated from Midwestern State in May. He's from Holiday, so he's from around this area. He's dating a girl that went to Electra. Her dad owns one of those pipe companies in Electra. Nate actually works for him. And so he was really invested in getting into Electra, and he's green, but he is all in. Like he wants to do whatever. And then I also hired another guy who's retired from Oklahoma. He's won a couple state championships up there, but he has run the Flexbone as well. And so he was looking to kind of, as he said, his wife started giving him too many honeydews, so he was wanting to get back into coaching.
And what's his name?
His name is Trent Shelby.
Okay.
And
Very
so he's coming on. And then, of course, Ryan Quillen is from Electra, has been the head basketball coach there, has been the head football coach and athletic director. I mean, he's Electra through and through. And then Peyton Jackson, who was at Iowa Park and at Quanah, and then has been – this is his second year at Electra, and then John Keller, who's been there for about 12 years. And that's the thing that really I was excited about, just staff-wise, that Coach Jackson and Coach Quillen, obviously this is my first athletic director gig. They've both been athletic directors, and they've both been in my seats. So I can sit there and I can say, hey, what do you guys think about this? And they're like, I don't know about that. Yeah, okay, you can do that. And so that's been very beneficial to me. And now Trent Shelby, Coach Shelby, he's come in. He's been an athletic director. He's been a principal. He's been a head coach. So I've got those 3 guys, and really we've got the one young kid and then a bunch of experience to try and build him up and help develop him into a coach I think he can be.
Yeah, he's in a great situation.
No, you're in a great situation.
No, I mean he is, but it's always
always good for a young coach.
It's always said, man, when you're my son he goes to training and stuff, and the person that's blessed the most is always the youngest in the room. The person that you got all that around you. I mean, he has no. I mean, what was his name again?
Eric Jones.
We're expecting you to be an athletic director and head coach.
Yeah, couple years. No,
you got 3 ADs and your AD, so basically 4 ADs that first year coach. That's how you're learning. I mean, he's gonna be well ahead of the curve when it's all said and done.
And you to be a brand new AD, to have 3 other guys that have the experience as an AD, who's not. Obviously, they're not ADs for a reason, whether it's their time or they wanted to take a step back or whatever. But to be surrounded by a bunch of previous ADs that don't want your job, like that to me seems like the most win-win situation that you could be in. So
and like Coach Quillen, the other thing is Coach Quillen is from Electra, student taught at Electra, and has coached in Electra for 20 years. And he always jokes with me that people would say, hey, why don't you go somewhere else? And he said, I've had 16 athletic directors in my time at Electra, so I've learned every offense and defense known to man. But what he does is I can say, hey, that's something new head coaches are always aware of, is you come in and you start saying, hey, what about this? What about that? And like changing up a helmet or changing up the color of a uniform. No, you're going to have a lot of people upset with you, and so you got to think about those things, because there are traditions everywhere you go. And if you're going in blind, you're going to make a lot of people mad before you even step on the field. And so that's been a very blessing for me, is that I can go to Coach Quillen and say, hey, is this kind of a tradition, or is this something that I can actually change or
put my twist on
it?
Yeah.
So talking about uniforms, last year Electra came out with that brand new helmet that they that different look. They had a different swag to them. I thought they played, looked good. Watching some of the games, man, I have to give shout out to the players in Electra. You guys was drip. We didn't have a lot of people join in on our drip, our little segment that we had going on. That ain't a womp to me.
It was a womp.
But it wasn't my idea.
I'm not saying it was.
All right then. Anyways,
It was a show flop.
there you go. Based off Evan Hearns. But he ain't here to defend himself. But
That's wrong.
they had some drip. Them guys look good. You know, I'm excited about Electra football. I mean, last year really was the first time in a long time that I can honestly say that I was excited again to see what Electra was going to do. Because let's be honest, to start the season, I'll be flat out honest. Nobody had Electra picked to be where they were at the beginning of the season. But each week we kept saying, are they going to win this one? Are they going to win this one? And it just kept going, and it was just they kind of reeled you in. You started rooting for them. You had no choice but to root for them. So know that this is, like I said, a new year, a new coach. But I think, like you said, this is just we're adding another brick to the house. We're not tearing down the foundation. We're adding to this because the expectation is even higher. I'm expecting to see Electra to do just as good, but better than what they did last year because they, like you said, you didn't lose many, you didn't lose much.
No.
So it's not often that you don't lose much and everybody's not. So the town, I guarantee there's high expectation from the town, from everybody. So, and what you said, your wife, is she an elementary teacher?
Yes, sir. She is.
So what grade does she teach?
She's going to be teaching 4th grade.
Okay, so 4th grade. So how invested? You're new. I know the Electra director out there. How invested are you going to be in the Top of Texas program out there in Electra?
Oh, Damien's already been texting me.
Yeah, I had to give my boy a shout out on the show, Date.
No, and that's the thing. And again, that goes back to what we were talking about, trying to get those kids to understand is, they're all part of Electra. And I want them to know, hey, you're going to be a Tiger someday. And so I want them to know who I am, know who the coaches are, know who the players are, and not just look at them like from afar. Because I think, and it may not be here, but in Amarillo, we had 3.5 designated junior highs, but it was open enrollment. So just because they were in your attendance zone, they could go to PD, Amarillo High, Caprock, or they could go to Canyon, Randall, or West Plains. And so you're sitting there and you're going, goodness gracious. Well, here, we want them to know, hey, this is where you want to be. You don't want to transfer somewhere else.
Yeah.
You're Electra. Your parents are Electra. Stay here and let's build something together.
Yeah, and the reason I brought that up is because Coach Damien, we had a Top of Texas meeting a couple weeks ago, and his enrollment numbers were 10 times better than it was the year before. And the reason I believe that those numbers are better is when your high school's winning, the little ones want to be a part of something. They're wanting to be a part of.
Oh, yeah.
They want to be the next. But if your high school program is not winning, I'll go play golf. I'll go play tennis. I'll do something else. But and I think that's the part that I want to make sure that everybody. What you're saying is, it starts, whether we believe it or not, it starts when they're young. But in order for a young person to want to be a part of something, they want to be a part of something that's winning. They want to be able to be proud to say that I'm an Electra Tiger. So, shout out to Coach Damien, Top of Texas out there. I had to give him a shameless plug. Y'all keep getting your kids signed up out there in Electra, man.
All right, so I'll go to, I don't know, maybe one or two of my last questions, and before you get on your deal. I have a question. Do you have, sorry, I keep moving this mic. I can't hear myself. Do you have a game on your schedule this year that's circled?
I think they're all big games, especially being a first-year head coach. Early on, and that's something the coaches that I've coached for and what we used to preach at Tascosa that I want to preach here is that there are different seasons within a football season. Right now we're fixing to hit fall camp. That's part of the season. Then you go to non-district. Well, you want to win all those games, but you also want to see progress. You want to see if you're getting better, because at the end of the day, if you want to win a gold football, district is really important. and getting yourself into the playoffs is really important. So then you have your pre-district, you have your district, and then once you hit the playoffs, that's a one-game season every go-round, and you put everything into that so that you can play another week. And that's what I'm trying to get across is, let's develop ourselves, and then once we get to district, let's let it go. Let's make sure that we're getting better each and every week as we go through this thing. And then let's get ourselves in the playoffs. Let's not sneak into the playoffs. Let's get ourselves in the playoffs. And you never know what happens from there. That's why they play the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
all you got to do is get a ticket to the big dance.
That's right.
For sure. So, Coach, you're new to the show. We've been doing this. This, like I said, this is our second year of doing this. Over the course of doing this, we've been blessed to have a special segment called the Big O Special.
Okay.
He's been hating on it for a while. I've prayed for him numerous times.
Well, you got to.
I think God's going to deliver him. But I've been fortunate and blessed to have Iowa Park Green and White Club sponsor. I got a sponsor now. I've worked hard for this, and I finally got a sponsor. It's paid off. First, I want to give thanks to God. No, I was not, but really do give thanks to God. But so I'm gonna ask you. The Big O Special is kind of like my food segment of the show, because we know all high school coaches they like to have a good meal and things like that. So we kind of try to figure out some things about you guys like that. So you've been around coaching. So we'll start in the different segments of where you came from and get to locally where you're at now. So in Lubbock, what was some of the things? What would you say your go-to spot would be if you're in Lubbock, where you were coaching at? What would be a go-to eating spot for you out there?
Well, Lubbock was in our district.
Well,
I came from
Amarillo.
Amarillo.
Yeah, Amarillo, Testos.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in Amarillo, I really liked Home Plate Diner. It was the guy that owned it had played minor league baseball, so when you walked in, there was baseball up there everywhere, like old-time stuff, new guys, and my dad was a big baseball fan, and so then you're getting chicken fried steak, you're getting just like blue plate special, and that's the kind of food that I kind of like is blue plate special. Now, when I was in East Texas, I like that Cajun food a lot, and so you, like I said, you're closer to Shreveport, so people were
that's what I was about to ask.
Crawfish bowls, and crawfish etouffee, and all that stuff. Oh man,
love it. So, being from Amarillo, of course, we know what Amarillo's known for. Have you ever ate the 72-ounce steak?
I have not. I've been there a couple times, and I've seen people attempt it, but I have not.
Have you ever seen anybody complete it?
No, I haven't.
I always wondered if anybody.
There's a lady on YouTube that she did 2 of them.
2 72-ounce
Yeah,
steaks?
she's like a professional eater, though.
Say, I don't know how you like because it gives you a time frame, don't it, to eat it?
Yeah, she did in like 8 minutes or
Yeah, it's like an hour, but it's not just a steak. That's what people don't understand. It's a 72-ounce steak. It's like
baked potato, salad,
and you got to eat all that for it to be free.
Oh yeah,
and they have a table up there, and they'll like sound an alarm, and like you're sitting facing the entire.
So not only are you eating in front of everybody, you hoping not to let nobody down. It's like right. It's one of those things. Okay, so of course you gave us like the Cajun food in East Texas when you were out there. So let's move to Electra a little bit. Since being in Electra, what's been a spot that's kind of been home and you've enjoyed going to eating at?
So my wife really loves Mexican food. So Carlitos is really good. I love their salsa and their beef enchiladas. The other place, which I think the same people own it, is the Pump City. Yeah. It's really good.
Okay.
I ate there with the coaches one day, I think the last day of school, and then I took my wife there. And
What do you like eating at Pump City?
I've gotten a hamburger both times.
Okay.
And they're really good.
And they're not little.
They're not little.
They're big, juicy.
Yes.
Greasy, just the way you like it.
Absolutely.
On a toasted bun. Oh, let me stop that.
Yeah, good. You're trying to get another sponsorship.
Yeah, I'm working on that one next. So being in the lecture, of course, smaller town. One thing I found out about a lecture, I didn't realize that they said a lecture back in the day had like they had car lots, like big car lots and all this stuff, and it was like it just was booming back then. So That was good information for me to learn about that. So my last part, I've kind of added a new kind of twist to my Big O special. What's one dish that if you just had to go must have? What's one dish that you would love for your wife to cook for you?
Like what I want her to cook, or what she's good at cooking.
like something that you enjoy that she cooks.
I really like her lasagna. Like she does a really good job with that. My son, my son's 21, so whenever he was around a lot more, he's in college, he would always beg her for that. And so she does a really good job with that. Trying to think what else. I mean, she does a bunch of different things. She makes, I like squash and zucchini. And
Mixed?
So mixed.
Yeah, my wife
she'll
makes
cut
it.
that up with sausage and bake it. And put like olive oil and all that.
Go back. Say that again.
So she'll cut up the squash and zucchini and
Yeah.
sausage and put it on a baking pan and put like olive
I ain't had
oil
it like that. I'm going to have to try that.
and bake it. She made it the other day, in
Sausage,
fact.
bacon with zucchini and squash. Baby, I know you hearing this. You gonna watch this episode.
We
I
put
need
like
that.
we put it on the grill, make
Yeah.
like a little
Like
bowl out
kebabs?
of make a little bowl out of
Aluminum foil.
aluminum foil. Put it in there. Put some of that ranch seasoning, that ranch on
Try
there.
that out. I've had squash and zucchini
That's good.
like as a side, but I've
Butter.
never thought to put
Yeah.
the sausage. Bacon makes everything. Good. Like,
Obviously.
I mean, if it's nasty, add bacon. That's kind of like one of those things. So if you were cooking, what would be the dish if we were to interview your wife right now? And we probably should do that next time. Poll the wives and see if you get it right. But if you were interviewing your wife, what would be the dish that she said she would want you to make?
Well, she likes it when I cook out. And
Okay.
so, usually it's hamburgers and squash zucchini. I make it like he's talking about. And usually she gets all this food and it takes me forever. And then she's like, why do we have so much food? I said, well, because y'all wanted me to make all this
Yeah,
stuff.
for real.
But so that if it were my kids like my chili and my meatloaf.
Okay, so you're a homemade chili guy. Okay. I ain't gonna ask you what your recipe is online, but that's something to know. I wonder if the viewers, if we did, Jeff, what do you think if we did like a coach's chili cook-off?
I'm literally down for any cook-off.
I
as long
wonder,
as
I wonder
can be a
how many
judge.
coaches would participate. We would be the judges, but I wonder if the coaches would participate because
we can
sound
make
like Coach Ritchey has issued a challenge.
Well,
Hey,
we got
a
as
chili
long as
cooker.
you don't invite Damien,
Oh, okay, yeah, he can. Yeah,
because I've heard he
Damien probably can cook.
he does some competition stuff.
Okay,
He and our
now,
technology
sounds
guy,
like we need to invite both of them.
he and our technology guy Reneth Reed.
okay,
He was a long-time coach here in Wichita Falls. Played at K-State.
Okay.
Way back, but he cooked our awards banquet food.
okay. So
All right,
that's-
so sounds to me like if we come to Electra
We got
for a
some good
game,
food.
we need some kind of cook-off.
we need Damien.
We need some kind of
Yeah.
something.
and
I
and
like
the tech guy.
lasagna.
We need the tech guy and Damien. to cook
Lasagna, some
chili,
grill,
something.
chili cook-off.
We
Well,
gonna get food. That's what it sounds like.
Y'all are gonna have to come after football season because I'm not gonna have time.
Oh, well, hey, good
Yeah.
answer. Good answer.
Well, hey,
yeah,
if we
we
can get one of those 4 things, I'll be okay.
Hey, we're
with
gonna
that.
figure it out. But like, Coach, I've enjoyed you being on the show. It's always great to get a new coach. I hate to say great because you want coaches to stay for a while, but whenever you get a new face, somebody that seems genuine for the community, for the kids, pulling for you. Electra, I'm telling you now, you got an offense that's gonna be very, very special. If the kids buy in, I promise you, you're gonna see something different offensively than you guys have seen in a while. Not that last year is what didn't work, but I think this is something that fits the kids of Electra very well. And we're pulling for Electra this year. We're expecting for a great season again. That's all I had for today. Appreciate you again, Coach Ritchey, coming out.
Thank y'all for having me on.
Yeah, one more quick question that I've kind of adapted as the last question here. Here, I'll do this for you. There.
This
No.
question is horrible.
No, it's not.
I have to say
This is
something
a question
negative.
for the people, but for you. Tell us the story or the background of how Coach Ritchey became a coach.
So my father worked at the Oakland Union Power Plant, and so I always thought I was going to be an engineer because I thought that was pretty cool, and I was pretty good in math in high school. I get to college, and I'm not as good at math as I thought I was. And I started thinking back of all the coaches that I had and their influence, and that's kind of what has shaped me, you know. So I get that question every time was Leo Britton your high school coach? Well, for my freshman and sophomore year, he was there, and then he retired and went to Oklahoma, and then Bill Blythe took over, and Mike Portwood came on board to take over for Coach Britton. But those guys, Coach Walt Scott, you know, those guys were really special, and they pushed you. And that at the end of the day, I said this, you know, you want to win gold footballs, and I told this last night at our parent meeting. At the end of the day, in 10 years, are the kids that I'm coaching going to be better people? Are they going to be husbands, fathers that take care of their families? And that's the reason I got into coaching. So
Awesome. Go ahead, close it out.
Yeah, I'm pretty much excited. Like I said, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be fun. The city of Electra, get excited. You guys, like I said, you're a great hire. It's gonna be one of these seasons where you guys are gonna look back and reflect years from now and be like, I think we got it right. I'm excited. I'm extremely excited to see this offense with those Electra players. I'm not gonna stop talking about it because
I can tell.
I'm telling you, I'm speechless because I know how well that offense is gonna do. It's gonna take some buy-in, but I think it would be well. It's gonna do well with those kids. So again, I appreciate you for coming on the show, Coach.
yeah, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for having me on.
All right. Well, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
All right. See
Go
ya.
Tigers.
Yes.